The Fisherman is a 2016 horror novel by John Langan. It is something that actually starts off as, I would say, pretty darn cozy, with hints of horror to come. Our narrator recounts in first person, like he's sitting down and talking to you. We never really, I don't think we get specifics on who exactly he's telling the story to and what setting either. But he's an aged fisherman. He works in an office, or once did. He's retired now, but he didn't get into fishing until his wife passed away shortly into their marriage. And then, after some point after that, it became his calling in life, essentially. This is essentially a story of bereavement, of cosmic horror and the supernatural, and is also a romantic tale of nature and sorcery. Romantic with capital R, I guess. It's also a story within a story, as parts 1 and 3 is pretty much this narrative, and it is very different in part 2, as that is kind of a recounting of an older story that pertains to parts 1 and 3. And the horror is very well hinted at. It involves a man named Dan, whose fate is sad and occurred in the Catskill Mountains at Dutchman Creek. We learn our narrator is Abraham Samuelson, and he tells a fine story with somewhat humorous asides, but it works kind of like a train wreck, right? You can't look away as the creeping just works. The unsettling parts slowly rising, and when I guess these things are coming. You don't know where they're going to show those, so you want to keep your eyes on. And the horror, right, is kind of continuing to the last. There's a good sense of place as well in New York, with Dutch and German history, and even a character that's an old German philologist, which is neat. Particularly as that chunk of the story is set in the early 20th century, which when you would have seen a philologist more commonly. And also that feels appropriately cosmic horror as far as the history of the genre is concerned. And I felt it a little long, I feel like, but still good. I could kind of see where it was going eventually, at least for certain parts of the story. But I think the style is a good mix of witty and drawn-out dread. And I really like the former when it showed, and I do feel like it's generally a good mix at times. I think you purify that wittiness with the dread, and it becomes something even more special. Say something like a Timaeus Blue story or something like that. But anyways, I'm not a big horror fan or something. I'm not big into stuff that is strictly labeled as horror normally, right? It has the right amount of creepy and built around characters and not just pieces meant to die. Then I can get into it. Definitely if it's not gory, then I'm not big into that. But it kind of joins Wilding Hall by Elizabeth Hand or Our Lady of Darkness by Leiber as kind of favorites in the genre for me. It definitely has a good use of a terminal climax as well. So it's definitely nice, definitely fit the mood of Halloween, and I definitely want to try more by Langan. It's my first thing I read by him. I want to try stuff like Lord Baron. I've read very little bit by Victor Laval, but I'd like to try more of his stuff as well. So we'll just see kind of where this goes from here. But felt like an appropriate read for Halloween. So anyways, Liam from Liam's Lyceum. I'll catch you next time.